Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in for another episode. I am shooting another video in the garage. We've had really unseasonably warm weather for Wisconsin in February. We're gonna hit a high of upper 40s today. It's like 44 degrees out right now, which I know for a lot of you guys is cold, but up here in Wisconsin, it feels like a summer day when that happens. You know, I'm sitting out here just in a light jacket, which honestly, this just showed up yesterday. It's the new Breakline hoodie by Stryker. Absolutely awesome. Fleece lined pockets, water resistant. I'm super excited for this. You'll probably see me wearing it quite a bit in a lot of videos coming up for some of those times I'm out on the water where it's not like t-shirt weather, but it's also not like heavy jacket weather. So I'll put a link for this if you guys want to check it out because it is really, really nice. And Sara told me yesterday that it's slimming. So that also makes me feel good because I've still got my winter weight on. Anyways, so I want to talk today about search baits. I've gotten some questions recently from viewers asking me what I mean by search baits because I reference search baits a lot in my videos. It's a really good question. I don't know that I've ever actually gone into detail on it, but generally when I say search bait, what I'm talking about is a faster moving bait that allows me to cover a lot of water and break down larger areas that look productive so that once I identify where the fish are holding in that larger area, I can slow down, kind of really pick it apart and therefore maybe catch some additional fish. Generally speaking, search baits are great baits at generating reaction strikes and they tend to, in my opinion, not get bit by all the fish in that area unless you're really hitting it right and you've got a really good feeding window where the activity levels are really high. So generally speaking, if you've got a big grass flat, say it's a 50-acre grass flat, the fish could be kind of all over the place and there's no real good isolated cover. Maybe there's no good grass break line, maybe there's no holes in the grass or areas where you've got some good transitions between grass species. But you know the fish are using that big flat. That's where picking up a search bait would really be good because you can move, cover a lot of water, make a lot of long casts, faster retrieve, and you're trying to generate a strike from one or two fish. And those strikes a lot of times are reaction strikes, but when you find those bites or get those couple bites, you can slow down, then throw a Texas rig or a worm or a wacky rig or something around to really kind of pick apart those grass areas. So that's what I mean by search baits. So to give you some good examples, I just pulled a couple of rods out of the rod box. One of my favorite for fishing grass, and I know I keep saying this is coming, it is coming. This is the Core Tackle Swim Jig in the Goldilocks color, but a swim jig is a phenomenal bait at covering large areas, especially if you're talking about fishing some of those big grass flats or big shallow flats. Maybe you got a bunch of wood or stumps because it's a weedless bait, comes through that cover great, and you can cover a lot of water. You know, at the same time, if it's not a swim jig, a lot of times you can fish a swim bait in those same manners. You grab a boot tail, you cover a lot of water, you're gonna find areas where there's where fish are holding, you can concentrate on them. Because a lot of times it never ceases to amaze me how you'll have these big flats. You could weave all over them, you know, one day and you catch one or two fish. And generally those waypoints, you put a waypoint down, they're gonna be close. You come back, you fish it again the next day, and generally the waypoints are gonna be similar to where you caught those other fish. And over the course of fishing that area multiple times, you'll find very good clusters of waypoints. And you can break those areas down so much faster with the moving baits. Another one of my favorites, this guy right here. This is a lipless crankbait, the old XRK50, the one knocker by Xcalibur. Just a great, great moving bait. Anytime you're looking again at covering large areas, large flats, a lipless crankbait is one of the best baits to do that because you can cast and wind fast, you can deflect it off cover, and it's a loud, brash bait that generates a lot of interest from fish that are in those areas. Now, we're not always talking about just flats. You know, a lot of times you're trying to cover some deep water areas. Maybe you've got a good deep break line that drops from 10 to 20 feet. It's a ledge. It goes for a long period of distance. Well, a crankbait. This is a dime 15 by Berkeley. Just will cover a ton of water. You can really cast these a long distance. You can crank them fast and you can generate good reaction strikes. So a lot of times if I'm fishing deeper water, maybe I've got a big hump, a big long hump, or a big long deep ridge, or a really long point, that's where I'll grab a crankbait and I'll cover that area really quick. When I generate a couple of strikes, that's maybe when I slow down with, say, you know, a football jig or a Carolina rig or a shaky head, something that I can drag through those areas, because I'll almost guarantee you can generate a couple more strikes. Another couple favorites, this is one that I had a lot of success in the fall. I'm excited to throw this more, the Berkeley Finisher. This is the size 7. This bait is one that you can throw further than pretty much any other bait, and you can work it really fast and cover a ton of water. I had really good luck with it on smallmouth lakes up here in the late summer, early fall, where the fish are just up on those flats and 14 foot of water or less. And I don't know of too many baits where you can cover water faster than with that Finisher. If you want to, you can slow down as well with it, but man, it's a good moving bait, good search bait. And then the last category, don't ever forget about your topwater baits. Something like the Berkeley Chapo right here, or a buzz bait, some form of topwater bait that is a cast and wind. Throw it out, cover a bunch of water down the bank. You're basically moving this, retrieving at the same time. A good topwater search bait, all these good search baits, a lot of times they still function very good if you're on the trolling motor, meaning you're moving and you're fishing at the same time. That's where a good search bait comes in handy. So if you're fishing, trying to cover a lot of water, shoreline related water, a topwater bait is a great bait to do it. A lot of times you'll get fish that just come up and show themselves, meaning they'll swirl on the bait or they'll follow it back to the boat. That's all right, especially if you're practicing. If you're practicing for a tournament, you know where they're roughly located. You can come back and fish through those areas. If you're just out fun fishing and they're not committing, well, you can turn around and go right back through those shoreline areas with a wacky rig or some sort of slow moving plastic, and generally get those same fish that showed themselves on the topwater to bite your soft plastic. So from that standpoint, guys, search baits are very, very critical in your fishing arsenal. They are a very good tool at helping you break down large areas and find those productive areas that you can continue to go back and catch fish, usually time after time, on your slower presentation. So hopefully that was helpful for you. That's what I mean when I say search baits. I'll put links to these so that you can check them out. I'll put links to the Striker Breakline hoodie. I'm telling you, you will love this thing, and it's slimming. So check those out too. Otherwise, if you enjoyed today's video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Stay tuned, new video coming out tomorrow.